one thing that I wish I would have known. So I'm a first generation low income college student. And my perception of like people who look like me is that none of them have parents who have gone to college. And I wish I would have known that that is not true. Like, I don't know, because you look at people who look like you and you think like, oh, we come from the same background, and like, especially at Brown, like that is not going to be the case all the time. And I think it definitely influences like your interactions with people. So I wish I would have known that.
I wish I would have known like about certain programs before you get to college, like QuestBridge. I think someone like mentioned it to me before I went to college, but I didn't know enough about it and I didn't know where to go to look for information about it. So it just kind of went or wasn't important to me. But regardless, like I'm still here, which is a great opportunity. But I just look back at like not only myself but all my peers who could have really done well with information like that and resources like that. Um, and that's one thing I wish I had known before going to college.
I think that the college process can seem really overwhelming, like when you're in that position of like applying to college, figuring out what you like. And I feel like it's easy to feel kind of like drowned out in so much information of like what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to be doing, that really you can kind of like miss a lot of opportunities that there are. So I feel like that's one good thing about having something like this website, is that it's just like a very clear indication of just information, which I feel like would have been nice like when I was applying to college, to know that it can be more simple and it can get a little bit less complicated.
I wish I would have known that it's okay to ask for help and that you're going to need it, that you won't make it through college alone. Like you're going to need friends and, mentors to support you in classes, outside of classes. So, the sooner you learn how to ask for help and just for things in general, your college experience gets so much better. Like there's so many resources on campus that you can use that we have. The writing center, access to CAPS, academic coaches that I didn't really learn about until recently. And I think that could have made my college experience a lot better and maybe easier. So I just think that knowing that they exist and that they're there for you, for students, can make life a lot easier and less stressful.
Yeah, I guess I would really want to piggyback off of what Emily and Brianna said in terms of like people like me, like I like growing up in high school and whatnot, going to a school like Brown, like it'd be like a dream or whatever, but nothing you would really ever think that like you could actually make happen. So just having having resources in terms of like letting you like people like kind of how Christina was just talking about, like having mentors and whatnot, even when you're in high school, to kind of just talk to you about, like these things can happen. Here are your resources. Here are the different steps, the different things that we can do to help, make things easier for you, not only in high school, but when you get to college. And then just like, so I'm a student athlete. And so like, a lot of people, like when I got to school, people kind of look down at student athletes like, oh, they only got here because of sports and whatnot. And so I guess just also understanding that you got here. So congrats to you, one. But two, just knowing that like there are going to be plenty of people to help you, like student athletes. And I believe everybody, we all get like free tutoring. We all get like, there's plenty of resources to help us make it through college. The hardest part was getting here. Everything else kind of comes with the territory. So that's what I would say I'd want to know about college. I was really nervous coming into a school like Brown.
How much do you guys think that the college process, like before you got there, actually matters like when you're there? Because I haven't gone to campus yet, so I'm not really quite sure like what the culture is around how you got in and like how that happened and all that stuff.
Well, I guess in terms of like answering our last question, in terms of like how you got in and how like with other people, like how that affects other people's perception on you. I honestly think everybody at Browns is pretty open, like not even open, but just like welcoming and just nice. Like I don't ever feel like I said, I was really nervous about like what everybody would look at me like. But when I got here, like everybody's been really nice. Like I feel like it's not just like, oh, athletes hang out with these people, or football players just hang out with these people. It's like I feel like everybody's really they all come together. I think that open house, the way we do housing our freshman year really helps with that, because like, you know, all the students just kind of get mixed up together. So I would definitely think those two things really help.
I guess in terms of the application process, once you get in and you commit somewhere, like I don't think anything else matters unless you're on financial aid and like fill out the FAFSA. That is something that like sticks with you and follows you throughout all 4 years. So it's good to get like good at it and knowing how to go about it, especially getting like your parents' tax information, which is something I struggle with even now. Like it's good to get that set in stone for yourself, because that is something you need to do like every year of college.
I remember I took a course my freshman year called the After School Hours, and it basically covered a lot of activities that students participate in after school. And I remember just sitting there and everyone sharing their own experiences about the activities that they used to participate in. You know, all these really fancy, expensive sports, you know, all these clubs. And I was like, yeah, like I did all like the free stuff because, you know, I couldn't afford to be like on a travel soccer team. I couldn't afford a lot of those, you know, fancy sailing, or I don't know, you know, the other fancy sports and just activities. So that's where I realized, or it became a reality, that I went to school with people who lived lives that were so different than mine. And I was like, okay, well, they probably put down these activities in their applications, and this is why they got in. But I was like, but I put down my activities and I got in also. So that doesn't mean that I'm less than. It just means we're different. And yeah, that's something I've been learning to accept recently.
I just one real quick thing. I think Brown does embrace like people being different. Embrace, like, it allows you to be like yourself. I feel like, you know, once you do get to campus, I guess I'm talking to Sophia in this one, but like once you do get to campus, you'll see like everybody's like they're themselves. I feel like everybody's really comfortable being themselves. And then just like on an earlier point in terms of like financial aid and whatnot, Brown, I feel like Brown, at least from my standpoint, does a pretty good job about financial, like helping students out and whatnot. Like, I guess I'm not gonna go in like specifics or anything like that, but I think Brown does do a pretty good job of like helping out the students that do need help.
Yeah, I do want to go a little bit more specific about the second half of what Clayton was saying about financial aid at Brown. Like based off of your financial need, like you will be put into like you'll have like certain types of aid that are only going to be available to you because you're of the highest need. And I think that a lot of us who have that label sometimes are like embarrassed to ask for help or something. But those resources really are there like for you to take them. And I like just want to emphasize that the resources are there like to serve that purpose. So I think it's definitely good to be aware of that, that yeah, you have like higher financial needs than a lot of other students on campus, but I mean, Brown is there to give you the money that you need.
Exactly. And I think some specific examples are, there's like the book program that I think a lot of Brown's like highest need students get their textbooks covered by Brown. And what else? There's like a scholarship that gives you money if you can't afford like new winter clothing, or if your laptop breaks, or if you have a medical emergency. There's a lot of funding that Brown has to help low-income students be successful at Brown.